What's up, bikers? I'm Robert, and this is the B1KER Bar Podcast live stream. Never gets old. Apparently, I say that a lot. Somebody sent me a letter, and that was like one of the things that they included in there. Never gets old saying that. It doesn't. Episode 117. Today we have Matt Dennison. I hope I said his last name right. You think I would like check how to say these things first, but we'll just go with make it up as I go. Sort of like whenever I talk to Heather Munaviv, I just add extra syllables in her name every time I say it. It doesn't matter. Episode 117. So Mahalo My Dude. We'll talk to him about what they did to get started and how they got to where they're at and where they're going. But before that, let's do the usuals at the beginning. I am really wanting my support for these channels to be 100% from you guys and just like whatever the ad revenue is from YouTube. So if you guys could swing by Patreon and help me out there, that would be rad. Because every time I talk to a company and I'm like thinking about pulling the trigger on getting a sponsorship, I just don't want to do it. I really don't. I feel like I'd rather have 100% freedom to do whatever I want and say whatever I want and wear whatever I want. You know, all of those things, ride whatever it is. And I can do that with you guys supporting me. So please do me a favor, swing by Patreon. You can do it as little as $1. And for that $1, you can get access to coupons that I've set up for other people that have been on from other people that have been on the show. And or you could just be happy that you're putting beer in the fridge or buying camera gears or batteries or whatever it is that I need to keep this thing going. So I'd appreciate that. If you want to do something for free that helps me out, swing by Facebook or Instagram. Give me a follow over there. If you haven't already, give them the thumbs up or the subscribe to the channel. Do that. There's 2 channels. If you don't know about the B1KER channel, swing by there. Subscribe to that one too. It's just clicking buttons, man. It doesn't cost you anything. And what's it do? Like the worst thing is you get a notification whenever I'm doing something. So that would be weird. Anyways, let's go ahead and bring our guest back on and on for the first time for you guys. So, hey, Matt, how's it going?
Hey, you pronounced my last name wrong, dude.
I did?
Yeah, it's Donaldson.
Are you serious? No, you're not.
I mean, it's a pretty phonetic name. I mean, it's hard to mess my name up, I feel like.
Yeah, you never know though, right? You know,
it has my last name has Icelandic roots. It's originally spelled Dinuson with an accent in there. It's Dennison, I think. And it's Icelandic.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that's pretty cool to have now, and everybody's like, "Go Viking," right? Like Valhalla.
Yeah, it's like a dream of mine to go meet my Viking relatives on like a bike packing trip or something in Iceland.
Oh, that would be so sick.
Sit down with other Dennisons or Denusons.
Yeah. Did you watch that show Vikings?
No.
Oh man, it was really good. I started watching. There's a new one out too. That's like the Viking Valhalla. So it's like the couple hundred years later one on Netflix, and I got sucked right back into it.
This is a history show.
The original one's on History Channel, and then the second one I think is just a Netflix production. But okay. They're like sort of historically accurate, sort of not. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But they're
in all the right spots.
Yeah, they're pretty good shows though, man. Super fun.
You might learn really quickly that I tend to be the one that has never seen something.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen that show. I like spend all my time working, and like it's rare that I sit down and watch something. But yeah,
I don't know honestly where I find the time to watch the stuff that I do watch. I think it's probably because I don't sleep a lot. Like I think like I'm one of those people that sleeps like 6 hours. I'm like, man, that was awesome. You know?
Yeah. I'm with you. And when I do actually end up sitting down and watch something, it's like I'm like, why did I choose to watch that? Like last night, I actually did watch a entire series with my girlfriend Brooke, and we watched Bad Vegan.
Oh, dude, I've been watching that. What'd you think?
It's funny. It's one of those classic Netflix shows where like in the first episode it's an hour long. By the end of it, you still have no idea what the plot is, but they hook you to watch the second one. You're like, oh god, okay, well I might as well watch the second one to find out what this is about.
Right.
So they had me hooked. They had me hooked hard.
I didn't finish it yet, but I think I was like somewhere in the middle of the 3rd episode.
Okay.
And to me, man, I don't know how it all plays out, but I really question if that girl was like as in the dark as she pretends to be, you know?
I mean, her texts and tweets back in like 2011 were kind of sus. They were like,
Yeah.
she was, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a bit of a strange cookie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely like, I feel like Netflix has got it pinned on like how to come up with these stories that are just interesting enough to keep you watching. You know what I mean? Where like,
Yeah,
I'd love to see their process of like how they choose. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think that well, I mean, you got to have a dedicated filmmaker who's going to go that far to like do all those interviews, put all
Yeah.
the edits together. Like that's a lot of work. You have to have a really committed person there, and probably some
Yeah.
money exchanging pockets too. You know, hey,
Yeah. You
help
would
me
think,
out.
right?
I'm in a pickle. Scratch my back. I'll scratch yours.
Right. Right.
But I think that on Netflix you have to actually. Well, what I've heard is that you have to make your thing and then you sell it. So maybe that's not the case every time, but you have to take the risk of actually already producing your thing and then
I
go
see.
and like pitch it.
So it's not like you go to them with a pilot. You're like, hey, here's the show. We recorded it. Maybe.
So I've heard. I mean, it's
Yeah.
probably been a different story for different people, but yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Well, and it's like, it's also like, I mean, you sit here and you're like, man, they are come out with all these like bangers of a show, but there's a boatload of content on there that they've produced that you're like, next. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
tons. Something for everybody though.
Yeah. It's
Mountain
kind of
biking
crazy.
stuff. I don't know. Any mountain biking on Netflix? I think.
I don't know.
Oh, there's I think what's it called?
Probably some of the bigger documentaries like Ride the Divide or something like that.
Oh, there is a film that I watched. It'll come to me.
Yeah,
I think it was on Netflix.
So while you're thinking about that, how'd you get into this filmmaking thing?
Well, Accomplice. That's the movie. Accomplice.
Was it?
Accomplice. It's
I'll have to look it up.
Jeremy Grant's film. And that's pretty solid.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. My favorite parts of the movie were dog segment where they got like slow-mo shots of the dog like scrubbing the ground, you know, leaving the rider behind. And then Paul Bass. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He crashed years ago at Red Bull Rampage and became paraplegic for some amount of time. Now he's back on the bike, and they had a super inspiring segment of him ripping, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, right on. I'll have to check it out then. So it's like a ride video. It's not like a movie kind of thing.
It's a movie. You know, it's like it's a classic mountain bike movie.
Right on. Yeah, I'll have to. What was the name again?
Accomplice.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
So back to the question. How'd you get started with this, man?
With what?
It's like making videos. Like, where did it come from? Like, was it something you started as a kid or?
Yeah. It was like a high school thing. First film I ever made was probably like a stop motion little video. Stop motion's like you take a pic, like I was using Lego figures. You take a picture and then you move it a little bit, you take another picture, move it a little bit, and that's like animating. Yeah. That was like my first little window into filmmaking when I was in like grade 9 or something like that. And that was
just
fun.
Thought it would be fun.
I don't know. I was always like super creative. I just like to make stuff. Like I used to make like bike ramps out of popsicle sticks and make like the Crankworks like the Crankworks Joyride course, like features out of popsicle sticks. I loved Lego. I loved anything adhesive, like glue guns, scotch tape. Yeah. I just love to make stuff with my hands. And then, you know, computers became a part of my life, and it was like, oh, you can make stuff on computers too. So I like Photoshop and MS Paint, and like videos is another frontier that I had to challenge. And yeah, that was like my first little instance. And I think in high school later on, like we had to make everybody has to make like a Shakespeare project. It's like classic. And I had to do like a Hamlet parody, and I did The Office. I was like was like kind of a, you know, class clown shouting out shit during class, like trying to be the funny guy, like borderline annoying, probably not borderline, way past the border, annoying to many people. Just trying to be the funny guy. And then like, yeah, I got pretty into making that film for English class. And then my dad got it. Like my dad is a mountain biker himself. And so was my brother at the time. And my dad would just want to capture us in photos.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually, with the buzz of digital cameras, video became a thing. So he had to get a video camera, and that led to a helmet camera, which was not a helmet cam, which was not a GoPro. It was like a little lipstick cam, just like a little tube of chapstick that's wired down into your back. And then in the backpack, you got the whole camcorder. And that was another little like video thing that was exciting. And then I got really into the video and wanted to make my own like edits with this. My dad would film me. I'd be super like annoying, like film me. And then he would show me the shot, and if it wasn't good enough, I'd get pissed, and he'd get pissed at me. So my perfectionism was already like,
it was already coming out,
already firing. And and then eventually, being just avid mountain biker, dirt jumper, went to one of the dirt jump parks here in on the West Coast, Canada, and I met my friend Jason and his friends, and they were making their first like full length film, and Jason had his own camera, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Friends with another camera and actually own a camera, and I just became friends with them, and it just became a thing where it's like you pass the camera around. Okay, you go. Okay, I'll hold it now. You go. And then we're making videos, and then really eventually, like, where I live, it's super in Vancouver, super rainy, super moist. We had some jumps in my backyard, but in the winter it was way too wet to ride them, so we couldn't film. So we're kind of bored, and we're like, why don't we make comedy videos? Jason and I both being that same kind of type to like just make jokes and class clowns, right, and we're like, let's make a comedy. So we made our first I Fucking Hate That video. Can we swear on this program?
Yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want at the bar, man.
So we made I Fucking Hate That, and that was the first little comedy video. Fast forward, I got a job making films full-time for nsmb.com, and I would just make like mountain bike videos, but I still had my YouTube channel at the time with Jason. And at a certain point, I asked my boss Cam if I could try to make like a funny mountain bike video and put it on my YouTube, but put his logos on it, and just kind of kill two birds with one stone. I'm working for Cam, getting my paycheck, but I'm also populating my YouTube channel. Right. And that was like the first like kind of funny mountain bike video that we ever posted. I think that was probably how to be a mountain biker back in like 2011, 2012 or something like that.
That one took off too, man.
And that's the short, condensed version of a long story.
Yeah. You went through it all. I was just figuring out how it started, but hey, man, freaking you start firing, I'm just gonna let you do it.
I've told you so many times.
So like do you still have video of that Hamlet?
Good question. I think I do. I think it's on Facebook.
Yeah.
I should download all that Facebook stuff, because I'd like to delete my Facebook entirely.
Yeah, you're over. Just what aspect of it you don't like?
I just don't use it. I just feel like over the years I added so many random friends that I don't know that I just feel like there's too many people I can see stuff, and I just don't use it. So there's a lot of data out there, like photos of me, and like I've had friends, they find themselves into trouble, and then all of a sudden the government seizes their Facebook. Right. It's like, it's evidence. I don't know what I might do in the future, but that Hamlet video is going to be prime evidence.
It's definitely probably something that'll catch you up there, and some dumb drunk text you made or post you made some night, right?
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
but I use it for the messenger. That's about it. So
yeah, I used to use Facebook a lot as far as like personally, but once I started my channel, I do so much social media with that. I don't really feel like I ever have time to do my like personal social media. You know what I mean? I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of become a bit of a drag to do that kind of thing now, especially when you have so many different platforms. And funny how they're all just connected now. It's like you don't even have to post Facebook. You just check the box that says post to both, and you're like, I did it.
Yeah. That's what I do with Twitter. And I don't even know how many people follow me over there. It's probably like 15, but I put zero effort into Twitter, but I just checked that box. I'm like, okay, got a Twitter.
That probably had something to do with to reflect why you have 15 followers. It's the same with our Facebook. Like, maybe if we put some like kind of effort and authenticity into this, maybe it would take off a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like, it's just like, it's easy to get caught into spending too much time on things that might not have a lot of return. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I still have, you know, a regular job outside of trying to do these channels. And at a certain point, it's like I see myself like interested in all kinds. I'm like, oh, I could do some TikTok videos. But it's like, well, what are you gonna like? How much time do you want to actually spend out of the day like doing this compared to like maybe like eating or sleeping or you know what I mean? Like
It's yeah, until you decide to do one, then it takes off, and then you get the huge dopamine kick, and now you're addicted, and you gotta keep doing
yeah.
it. You're chasing the dragon forever.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that the thing? You know?
Pretty much. I mean, that's part of my story too. Is like early on as a kid, like we decided to just like keep gunning for a viral video. Like, how do we make a viral video? And then it happens once, and you're like, well, we can do it again.
Yeah.
And then you're just like on this cycle of nonstop.
I was listening to Mr. Beast on
Viral.
Rogan's podcast recently, and he was
Yeah, I
talking
listened to that
about
one too.
yeah, he was saying that one of his first ones he made like 20 grand on, like one of his first ones that like blew up, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And it was just like that's what hooked him, you know, where it was like I mean, he was obviously, you know, pretty hooked before, but
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that yeah, right. But
I wonder which one that was for him. We had a video go really viral. Do you know which one it is?
I don't remember what he said. I mean, it was one of I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. So
We had one that it wasn't our first viral video, but it was definitely our most viral we've ever made, I would say. It doesn't have the most views, but it gained the most amount of views in the smallest amount of time.
yeah.
And we got like a check in the mail for $8,000 that month, and that was like, holy crap, like let's keep doing this. And then
Yeah, this is rad. Yeah.
No, that was like we peaked. We peaked hard.
Yeah. I mean, you
But
guys are doing
that video, it was called If Diablo 3 Were a Girl. It was on our IFHT Films channel, and
yeah.
it got like 500,000 views every single day until it capped out at like 10 million views.
Oh wow.
It was pretty insane.
That's crazy, man. I haven't had something do wildly successful like that, you know.
Yeah.
But I always kind of think about like Mr. Beast, you know, where it's like just keep chugging and eventually you're gonna figure it out, you know.
For sure, that's all it is, really. And yeah, when you do, it's yeah, I mean it's just like a crazy drug hit of dopamine. Just like on a wild ride, and like just all the attention coming in. And I think the reason it goes so viral is you have the reason, like at that time, you know, we were making content a lot different than we do now. We were trying to do topical things. We were trying to make content based around what like the world was talking about. So at the time, the world was maybe arguably a more simple place, and the topic was Diablo, at least on Reddit. Right. And yeah, this game had kind of in a way flopped like on the launch, and we're like, okay, well, you know, essentially the whole world's paying attention to this. And I was like trying to sleep on my pillow, thinking of a nice sketch idea. I came up with it, and then like within 24 hours we wrote a script, and then another 24 hours we had it filmed. And it was like the topical content and the quick turnaround just equaled success.
Yeah.
So it's definitely easier when you're making something topical. Like there's so many viral videos that came out of the pandemic, like making fun of the pandemic or poking fun at that. Like it's a sure way to kind of get that virality.
Yeah, whatever is trending and stuff. I see what you're saying there.
Yeah,
but
it's harder when we're in our when we're working in our mountain bike niche, right? Like it's not we've already kind of painted ourselves into a corner a little bit, but you can still go viral in the mountain bike world.
Right. Yeah, totally. And I think you could still hit those topics as well, though. You know, you just have to figure it's a little different. You know, I guess it depends on your content. I mean, it would be weird for like BKXE to do a COVID video, but you know what I mean? But
yeah. Well, I guess we did like mountain bikers in quarantine, which was kind of the same thing. That did pretty well. Like, but the thing is, if someone's not interested in biking, they just automatically don't really care. Like you have to really hook them somehow to get a non-mountain biker sitting down for 5 minutes of people making jokes around bikes.
Right. So did you have some kind of like video production thing that you did in high school? Like they had a class like that, or did you just go into like kind of doing it yourself and then went to college for something? Or
There was no video program at my school. There was a photography class, and I loved my photography teacher. And we had art classes, but no, though really the extent of video was just having to do a video for other random classes like English or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I having trouble deciding what I wanted to do after high school. My mom asked me, like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to ride mountain bikes and make videos. All right, well, then do that. So then that kind of led me to apply to a film school here in Vancouver. And I did I didn't do like a 4-year thing. I didn't even do a 1-year thing. I did a 4-month, they call it intensive film program. Basically just means you're going from like 9 a.m. to like 7 p.m, maybe 5, 6, 7 days a week. And and yeah, I just went for 4 months. But I mean, for the most part, like everything, a lot of what I've learned is just self-taught or getting out there and learning with people in the field. But definitely a few lessons here and there from film school.
Yeah, I've thought about taking some classes at like a local school or something like that, just to see what kind of knowledge I get out of it,
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, it depends. Like for me, I was always very interested in the craft of filmmaking. Like I always wanted to make better and better films. I wanted to get better at the camera work. I became interested in lighting, and I was very interested in like directing and blocking, which is basically just like moving actors around and just all that kind of thought process. Definitely was not interested in like budgeting and like money and stuff like that. That was like when I fell asleep in class. But I mean, you can, you take you can get good lessons when it comes to those elements of film.
Yeah.
There's always something that you'll take away, but there's a lot that's kind of like, all right, I already know this. Like you'll spend a week learning like f-stops and shutter speed and ISO and learning how to use the camera, but not everybody's starting from a different level. So you just kind of have to sit through a lot of stuff. And in film school, I definitely already known a lot of the stuff. And so some of it was pretty slow, but that's just how it goes.
Yeah. When I went to school for IT stuff, that's what I do for my regular job. I definitely was in the same position where it was like some classes, like I could literally just not even be there and ace every test. It was like, you guys aren't teaching me anything except for how to do something else while you're talking.
I don't multitask. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can definitely relate. I think the thing that intrigues me about like taking some classes is like more on the editing front. I always feel like I could learn more on like how to edit, but I know like the part that would suck for me is what we just talked about. I have to take some prerequisite, you know what I mean, of Adobe 101, and it'll be like, okay, I got to sit through this class for however long until I can actually get to something that means something to me.
Yeah, I think that with something like editing, it's just you and a computer at the end of the day. So you might as well just YouTube. You might as well just YouTube the topics, because like I just was going through my head like, oh, what did I learn that I took away? And it's all stuff that I could have just learned on YouTube. I think the biggest benefit is working with people. Like you can't just all of a sudden have a team in your living room or wherever your computer is. So to be able to connect with real humans and also learn about the hierarchy of a film set, that was very, very helpful. And you also get like the access to gear depending on how good your film school is. Mine definitely was not the best, but if you go to some of the high end ones, you get everything. But then you get a lot of competition, and there's a lot of bitterness with whose projects go forward and who's the director, and you end up being like a sound guy when you wanted to be a director or something. So
right. Yeah, I went to school for studio recording before I got into IT, and
oh, cool.
We had a really cool like a $5 million studio, so it was pretty rad to like be able to work around that stuff. And I think, looking back on it, it's probably part of some of that, like what led me to where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like,
what kind of
go ahead.
Kind of recording?
like audio, like for like recording bands or whatever, you know,
Okay.
to be like a sound engineer. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it was
cool.
yeah. You know, it was one of those things where I at the time I was younger, you know, I played music and wanted to be in the music industry. So my idea was like, okay, well, I mean, I can have a band, but the likelihood of like becoming a rock star is pretty fucking low, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I was like, I just want to work with music, you know, and I
Yeah.
really wanted to like figure out other ways. So it was like one aspect was like go to school for that. Another aspect was like maybe go intern at this high school radio station, and you know, and I kind of chased after that dream for whatever amount of time it was until it wasn't a dream anymore, and then I went after something else, you know. So
Yeah. Well, you
yeah,
still have those skills under your belt though.
yeah, it's
Have you ever
interesting.
made a song on your YouTube?
Not on my YouTube, no. I've
Oh.
thought about it a few times,
Oh,
like
well, there's a box you gotta check off. I mean,
yeah.
well, I mean, we have plenty of songs that we've made, most of them rap songs. So
Uh-huh.
I have friends who are musicians here. They're professional rappers, and friends who
Yeah.
are engineers. So I've been around a lot of engineers, and been in the studio and been a fly on the wall, which is really cool to
Yeah.
do. Yeah, we've done the whole rap thing. But Kaz, yeah, do you know Kaz from our channel?
Not off the top of my head, but
Kaz Yamamura, he's I've been working with him for several years now. Anyways,
uh-huh.
we just this month we have started a rock song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Do you play an instrument or?
yeah, I play guitar,
Oh, right on, dude.
but I also I sing in this one. So
Yeah.
this is an upcoming project that we haven't told anybody about yet, but we're gonna shoot that one in April. And
Oh, that sounds fun.
yeah, it's really fun. So I'm actually like, I'm hunting around, deciding on engineers and who to work with
Yeah.
and stuff, because we're doing most of it ourselves. Like we tracked out the song ourselves in this room, but
Uh-huh.
we need like that edge of professionalism to take it to another level.
Yeah, I hear you
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I play guitar as well, but I always say like I always just played enough guitar to like impress some girl long enough to talk her into doing something with me.
Well, oh, you should make a song, man. I mean, it's like,
Yeah,
you know, like, well, when I agree, like, you know, growing up, I'm like, I'm never gonna be a rock star. And it's just, I
right.
can't see myself doing that. But like, here I am with Kaz sitting in the room, like tracking out guitars. I'm
Yeah,
singing like I'm in Blink-182 or Sum 41 or
right.
something, like top of my lungs, and I'm like, I'm doing it. This is it. Like,
This is it.
we're not trying to like, you know, make an album or anything, but I'm
Yeah,
making a song.
yeah.
And I'm like, hey, all it took is I just had to do it. And
That's super cool, man.
yeah.
Do you do karaoke? You ever do that?
I did karaoke once actually when Kaz
What?
took us to Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the song you decide to go with?
Oh, Sweater Weather by The Neighborhood.
All right.
Yeah.
On.
Yeah, all I am is a man. Yeah, that's probably the song. It's like my favorite song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome, dude. Every once in a while, every once in a while, I'll get roped into doing it. I always do.
Yeah.
I think my go-to song is "Wanted Dead or Alive." That's
How's
the
that one
one.
go?
Wanted dead or alive. I'm wanted. You gotta get that Richie in the background too. So I'm pretty good at that one. Usually
Um,
people get super stoked out of it. I think my highlight of my karaoke career was a pretty like popular bar around town for a while. They used to do live karaoke, so they had this band that would play the songs so that you would carry instead of it like just being
oh,
some like
nice.
stupid little machine.
Oh,
And
okay.
I definitely like everybody in the bar was like super stoked. It was pretty fun. It was like it felt like I was a rock star for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
minute. You know?
Yeah, it is fun. You get a little rush when like I
Yeah.
could that's a lot more pressure to have a real band there with you backing you up.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
crap.
yeah. Yeah, it was super cool though. It was cool too, even like after the fact, like the guys that were in the band, like were like, dude, that was rad. That was so fun. You know, I was like, right on, man. But yeah, I'm a one-hit wonder though.
Yeah, for sure.
I keep
Yeah, I
trying to
mean,
find
like,
another song, but that's it.
I enjoy like singing, like playing instruments, but I'm not one to like go on stage and do it. Like it's
Yeah,
nerve-wracking to put myself out there. I like to do it behind closed doors and then like work on it and then
yeah,
and then and then reveal it.
Yeah. So
And then
same idea with the videos then, right? You know?
yeah, more or less, yeah.
Yeah.
But you should definitely I keep talking to this mic like it's doing anything. It's not doing anything, just for show, so everybody knows.
Yeah. The people that are listening, they have no idea though. So that's good.
You should definitely do a song though. I'm gonna be waiting for it. Yeah.
Maybe I'll
100%.
make another channel for it.
Oh no need, man. You'll be kicking yourself when it goes viral and you're like, great, I have another channel with one huge video on it. Who cares, man?
I always think about that when you see somebody like post some video that goes nuts, right? And I always think to myself, dude, they're not monetized, and that thing's like hitting like 3 million views right now, and they're like, they could be getting a fat paycheck, you know?
Right.
Like,
yeah. Well, yeah. So something cool that we did, Jason and I, like, I don't know, 2015. We were selected for this YouTube program called YouTube. Oh, what the hell is it called? There's 2 programs we were a part of. YouTube Next Up. Basically, that was like, we did a bunch of virtual calls with people at YouTube. Like, we had like mentors, and they gave us like 10 grand a year, and no, it was 5 grand a year and 10 grand of advertising on YouTube. And then that brought us to another thing. It was like, the YouTube Creator Accelerator. And we actually were flown down to LA for 3 weeks, 1 week at a time. And we basically went to YouTube school, and we got to make videos at the YouTube space in LA. And one of the things that stuck out with me, like, we would sit in like lectures, basically. We'd use their studios. It was really awesome. But one of the things that I remember learning was about you have, what is it called? You have hero content and supplementary content. So, you know, you have your hero videos, which would be like your rock song, your super viral rock song, 30 million views. And then you have your supplementary content, which, you know, the hero video gets the people introduced to your channel, and then the supplementary content keeps people glued watching more, right? So it was always we always would make our hero content back in the day. We'd never really make regular content. So we'd always just like make those music videos or make those like how to be videos, and they would have nothing in between. And so it would take like months for something else to come out. But now on our Mahalo My Dude channel, it's like, all it really is supplementary. Like, it's like consistent content that isn't necessarily like hero viral content. Maybe once in a while we'll do something that kind of casts the wider net. But yeah, my point is, make your rock song. That's your hero content. And then your podcast or your supplementary, and that's your recipe for success.
There we go. Yeah, maybe, man. Maybe. Who knows? I honestly think that everything that I've learned on the biker channel, or the biker bar, let's just say, mostly the biker channel, in the back of my mind, I think that it's like the channel that I'm using to go to school. And in my mind, I think that there's going to be another channel that I do that I use all that knowledge, and that's the one that's actually going to be like something, you know what I mean?
So you're already anticipating your rebrand.
Yeah, I am, you know, and I almost did it earlier, like last year. I did end up like kind of doing like a skit video that I had never done before, you know, and it was originally I contemplated like starting that with another channel, and then some people that I was talking to were like, just do it on your mountain bike channel, you know, like it's the same kind of content. It doesn't really matter. You have a following, and if it takes off, then you know you got something, you know. And I just I think I'm really bad at doing thumbnails, so
we can hire people to do that now.
Yeah, right. So I'll have to work on that, but
maybe that's worth the $30 a thumbnail or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, probably, huh? If I could do that, then I'd just be, if I could hire like BCPOV, I'd be solid.
Oh God, I'm sure he's spending half his time on his thumbnails.
Yeah, right. So what's your creative process look like? How do you do it? Like, you're like, you know, hanging out with your buddies, you come up with an idea, you got a notepad next to your bed when you wake up, and you're like, write down that dream.
I pretty much just go to a cabin in the middle of the woods and just do a bunch of acid, and that's pretty much it.
That works.
Oh man, it's so like, that question always stumps me because it's like, I'm like, I don't even know what my creative process is. It's like, you never know like where the ideas come from out of this
Right.
like weird force.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
just comes to your head. You're like, where did that even come from? But
yeah.
I mean, I used to have a notepad beside my bed because the ideas would come, and I know that the ideas don't stick around forever. You know,
Yeah.
I only have so much RAM inside my thinking raisin.
Yeah.
So, but we have something called the tickle trunk, which is basically just a room for notes. Like it used to be on Facebook, like in a private group, and now it's in our Slack channel. And it's just like all of our bad ideas or good ideas for like something that could be a thing. And some of those ideas we hold on to for years. Like this rock song I've been telling you about is an idea that I've had for 3-4 years, and finally just like found the right time and place to do it.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the times, you know, I mean, the tough part is you can only do so many ideas, right? Like you have to, it's grim, but I say the sad part about filmmaking is that you have to take some of your ideas to the grave. You just can't do them all.
Yeah.
So you have to pick and choose. But I mean, sometimes brands come to us and they want us to do their commercials or their product launch for say like a new bike or something. So we don't have an idea already baked. So they have to, they give us, their product, the details, what kind of makes it unique. And then we just sit in a room and we just throw shit at the wall. I would say that. I say that a lot, throwing shit at the wall. That's my creative process.
It's a good one. I mean, obviously you guys are at like what, 350,000 subscribers right now. So apparently,
between our two channels, we have over 1 million subscribers. We have on our IFHT Films channel, we have 750, and Mahalo has been a slower grow for sure. Trying like, with lesser like viral content, and it's like a completely different thing because it's more just like vlogs and like our life. So it's a little bit less idea based, whereas the other channel is like it's coming up with sketches or concepts of some sort.
So when you started, you guys had, I think originally it was like IFHT, right?
Yeah, that was our first channel, and it was basically all sketch comedy. It wasn't a mountain bike thing at all. It was just random comedy inspired by like other YouTubers, like Lonely Island for sure was a huge influence of ours. Julian Smith, he made awesome sketches.
So when you started that channel, who was the group?
It was me and Jason. We actually had another third member. His name was Rex. He was someone I went to school with, but he kind of found he wasn't really interested, so he kind of departed. But for the most part, it was me and Jason for years.
So you guys were like, "Hey, let's start a YouTube channel and let's do some skits," and you just like went after it together, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Is like I said, it was just like a cold winter day. We couldn't ride bikes, and we're like, we're just bored. We had our friend had let us borrow his 4K camera. This was the first 4K camera we'd ever used, and we're like, well, shit, we got to film something. So we said, why don't we? I think I suggested let's make a series on things that we hated and like about pet peeves, and it just turned into a little series called "I Fucking Hate That." And we just had like 3 lined up, and the first one was about brushing your teeth, and you're brushing your teeth too aggressively, and the toothbrush flies out of your face and it scrapes against your cheek. Something super niche that never really happens to most people.
Right.
But and then we just did it. It was 30 seconds long, and it was super fun.
And then that was it, and you guys were hooked.
Well, yeah, it's like, at the time, Facebook likes and thumbs up were a new thing. So you got your thumbs up, and we're like, oh, people like it. And then, people from school, from high school, they knew we were doing stuff because we posted it on our like feed, right? And then it wasn't even on YouTube at the time. It was just Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I remember a girl in class, she asked me, are you going to upload to YouTube and apply for partnership? And I didn't know what that was. And she's like, you can make money. And I was like, what? That's sick. So then we were gunning for partnership, which we got denied once or twice. And then we finally got it. And then I think our first AdSense check was, or not even a check, our first AdSense statement was 9 cents or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, like the way it starts, you know, and then where it can go, you know, to
Yeah.
the that was one of the things that like jumped out to me on that Mr. Beast interview where he was like, anybody can start a channel and anybody can like make these ridiculous amounts of money. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just up to you, like
Yeah.
finding content, you know?
Literally anybody. I mean, look at Mr. Beast. He just looks like an ordinary guy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
ordinary, nerdy guy. He's super
Yeah.
clever. He's got great ideas. He just goes
Yeah.
for it. And like
Yeah.
at some point, Mr. Beast had 1 subscriber, right?
Right.
Like he
Right.
had an embarrassing low amount of subscribers. Everybody
Yeah.
did. So
Yeah.
like you can't be ashamed with whatever you have. It's a rite of passage. Every number
Yeah.
you have, it's
He did it for like 10 years and like made nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but like I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday and they're like, there's this lady in Brazil that cooks on a like clay oven dug out of the ground and has like, you know, like 500 million subscribers and like, you know what I mean? It's just like, what, you know, it's just crazy. You know,
Yeah.
you think about it. You're like, that's insane. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
I've thought of so many other like little channels that, you know, if I decide, you know what, I'm just gonna bug out, move to the cabin, into a cabin in the middle of nowhere and start my own YouTube channel making like miniature campfires.
Yeah.
Right. With a macro lens and that's it. You know, it's like there's like Japanese channels that they cook miniature food, right? And they have millions of subscribers, so you can do anything.
Yeah, it's
Anything.
insane. It's totally insane.
Yeah.
So you guys did the IFHT for a while, and then there was this like when you split off the Mahalo My Dude. Like what happened there?
So Mahalo My Dude has been through a lot of changes. You know, speaking of rebranding, that channel used to just be IFHT2, which was where we would put our BTS content or our vlogs. We were really inspired by a YouTuber, Toby Turner, and he would just do one take vlogs with his iPhone. He would just, for 60 seconds or a few minutes, he would just talk and no editing involved. So we got into that just to try and get comfortable with talking to the camera and walking around in public and being confident that we're just talking to a piece of technology.
Yeah.
So we were doing that for a while. And then an event that happened in my life was I had mountain bikes stolen from my house. I had 5 mountain bikes stolen at once, and pretty devastating. And I couldn't justify buying like a mountain bike outright myself. So to try and was already like gunning for like a sponsor, and that was basically like the genesis of the rebrand. I wanted to then turn the camera myself, and I realized, you know, hey, maybe I should just. I was always like self-conscious that I wasn't that good at biking, and I wasn't worth like filming, or I wasn't worth like. Then I decided, like, you know what, I'm just gonna get over that. I'm just gonna film myself because there's people who are not as good as me and would be inspired watching me. I'm just gonna turn it around myself. So, yeah, I pretty much just did that in the pursuit of getting a free mountain bike, and I changed the name of the channel. I asked Jason if it was cool because I think the IFHT2 channel, it was kind of like dead at that time. We hadn't done anything on it. I said, I'm going to change the channel Matt Dennison. He was like, yeah, cool. So then I just started making some vlogs, traveling around. I was following Kaz around as Kaz was getting hired to be a photographer at BC bike races here. And I was like, can I tag along? I'm just going to film and make a vlog. And I did that. And then like some of the early vlogs that we did, I feel like, I don't know, there wasn't the mountain bike YouTube landscape was not what it is now. Like when I was making those videos, there was maybe like one other guy, like Boostmaster. I don't really think that anybody else was really doing it. And so I would post like a vlog at Crankworks or whatever, and I get like 400,000 views right away. I'm like, holy crap, this is bigger than the other channel right now. And I'm doing something that just is fun. I'm not like conceptualizing. I'm not writing a script. I'm not doing all this. So then I told Jason, hey, we should go out this together. So then we changed the channel to Matt and Jason.
Yeah.
That was another rebrand. And then fast forward, Jason took a job at Pink Bike. He had an opportunity to create content there, and he wanted to take on that challenge. So then another rebrand came our way, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't just keep changing the channel to whoever the name is. And that was Matt
just keep
Kaz.
going.
Matt Kaz minus Jason. And so then at the time we had already kind of had this like tagline kind of inside thing called Mahalo My Dude. Like it was just something that people said to me, kind of started from Snapchat at the time. And I changed the channel to Mahalo My Dude. And just, because I just wanted to make it timeless. Like, it doesn't matter who's in and out of the channel. I might not be around forever, but let's still create the possibility that the channel could live without me. So we called him Mahalo My Dude.
Yeah.
So it's lived a long life, many lives.
Yeah, it sounds like it definitely has.
So, that says something about like pivoting and putting whatever on your channel, experimenting. Like don't be so afraid that like whatever you do is gonna be carved into stone. I mean, it is in a little way, but like you could add more stones and make your garden.
Yeah. I always think about that, like I know I've had some conversations with other people too where they're like, oh well, this is like this is my content, and it's like, well, you got the channel. Like I think originally like maybe people initially will subscribe for whatever that content is, but ultimately people end up sticking around for like who the personalities are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you can
For
pivot
sure.
and a lot of people won't leave. You know what I mean? And maybe some would. I mean, if you went from being like a cooking channel to a mountain bike channel, all right. Like
yeah, that's where you can lose people. I mean, it's like on our IFHT Films channel, we've done a lot of different content. Something I learned at that YouTube program is we make fire hose content. It's not like a straight stream of like the same thing. It's we're casting a broad net, and we've done like content on skiing, rock climbing, mountain biking, volleyball, hockey, like, and we might have a video that does really well in that category. So then you get like 20,000 volleyball players are like, this is the best volleyball channel ever. I love it. And then they never see another volleyball channel, and it's just mountain biking stuff. Like you're like commenting, they're like, what the hell? So like that definitely like kind of, it can help you and it can hurt you. It depends how you do it.
Yeah.
And I also recall how our friend Andrew Santos, he would bring up how there's like two types of content on YouTube. There's idea-based content, and there's is it personality? Story-based? Oh, I'm messing it up. Anyways, the premise is that you can either make content that's around a concept and, kind of similar to like our how to buy a mountain bike or like a hockey video or something, or you can make videos that are more just based on your story, and it's people just want to follow you, and they fall in love with whatever you're doing. There's like two ways to go about it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. 100%. Yeah. So like something thought out and scripted or planned versus something that's like, let's just say reality TV,
like Casey Neistat, he's a good example of,
yeah.
I botched the like two types of content, but
yeah, I got what you're saying though.
You're just watching his story evolve over many episodes, right? And it's not like necessarily this one video is about this one conceptual thing and it doesn't link to anything else, So
yeah, he's pretty rad, honestly, like for the type of content that he does, it's just it's interesting, you know what I mean? And it's like and it's never the same. And it's just really like what you said. I mean, it's just kind of him living his life, but it's interesting that that's the way that he like pulls it together is definitely, it's capturing,
yeah he's a clever guy. He's got a strong background in film too, and like he had an HBO show, so he's got a lot of clever ideas. He does it well for sure. I haven't watched him in a while though.
Yeah, he's one of those ones that like it pops up here and there, and I'll watch it, and when I watch it, I'm like, wow, this is really good content. But then I don't necessarily like, I don't have the bell rung, where it's like every week, There's another guy. Oh man, I'm gonna have to like, he like a shoot, I can't think of his name. He's like a filmmaker for mountain bikes, and his channel name is just his name's Jason something. Oh god,
okay.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to pull it up. Well, I can't do it though, because it would be on my other account. Maybe if I use another browser to sign in here, I could do it. But anyways, he like makes really interesting kind of like vloggy content like that, super artistic, you know. And it's interesting, you know, but it's one of those things too where I don't follow it all the time. Even like Peter McKinnon,
yeah,
you know, a camera guy, for those of you guys that don't know, like he his content's super good, you know. It's just a lot of times, I don't know, you wouldn't necessarily call it product review stuff or like how to, I don't know. It's like sometimes it's vloggy, sometimes it is how to, sometimes it's critique, but he's got a great way of telling story, you know. And you're like,
it's got a good format down.
yeah, like do a little magic trick and then at the same time tell this story. So it's like you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Coffee in slow-mo.
Yeah, and he's so good with the camera. You're just like, wow, how do I do that? You know, at least me, you know, I'm sure maybe you look at it differently than I do. I'm sure you have a much better camera skills than me. I wish I would have. There was a photography class when I was in high school. I wish I would have took it. You know, at the time I was so into music though that it didn't interest me, and it's something that I think if I would have took it, like it would have been like it would have captured me more than I expected it. You know what I mean?
It's not too late. Masterclass it or share it or something. This podcast is brought to you by
Skillshare. Yeah, that's what I'm shooting for, man. If I can get to the Skillshare ad space of podcasting.
Oh yeah. Who's this one brought to you by?
This one is brought to you by Patreon. So swing by Patreon and help me out. And Pit Viper, apparently.
Pay us, Pit Viper. Let's go. I know you're watching.
Right. Yeah.
By Patreon. By Patreon.
Yeah. It's been interesting to see the podcast grow. You know, as starting this, I started it as a YouTuber, right? And it was just that I was like doing these live streams and people would be entertained. So I was like, oh, I can do podcasts. Everybody else is. And so I didn't really know anything about podcasting. And the numbers are not the same as like what you would expect to see out of a YouTube video, that what like they consider a successful podcast. And I'm like really interested, or like it's interesting to me that now, even though I have way more views on my my regular biker channel, which is, you know, typical YouTube type of content, most of the people that come up to me and talk to me like start off with like, oh, I listened to your podcast.
Oh yeah, interesting.
It's really interesting, yeah. And it's kind of crazy, you know. And it's like I've looked at it now, and like my podcasts are starting to peak where they get more downloads than the YouTube views, which is interesting, you know. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we're dabbling in the podcast world too. We just started it. We haven't announced the name of our podcast yet, or any platforms or anything, but we've recorded 3.
Yeah.
And we've gone at it now, or actually, well, we've done 4. We did podcast 0, which was just us, and now we have guests. Yeah, but yeah, we're dabbling too, and it's fun.
Yeah,
and
I like it because you know, it's just to me, I don't know, it seems like it's not work to me. You know, there's not much or as much work to it. You know, I'm sure if you were doing like a crime podcast where there's a lot of like investigative journalism and editing, they're like, you know, putting all these sound effects and stuff like that in it. For me, it's like, come out here and talk to somebody for 2 hours. Like, that's really easy, especially when we're talking about something we enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some sound effects would be cool though. You know?
Yeah. Right.
Right now.
Need to get one of those boards that they have like in the radio industry where I can just like little kazoo sounds and
little
stuff
soundboard.
Like that.
Yeah, we got that one, and we're having lots of fun with the soundboard. It's great.
I can imagine. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. You can fall down the rabbit hole no matter what you get into, right?
Yeah,
you just keep adding things, and the one thing that I always try to keep telling myself though is like, sometimes I think the simplicity, you know, like that's how you get started, right? There's like lots of people that are into the simplicity, and maybe it doesn't need to be complicated. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you can try to keep things simple as much as you can. I mean, I believe that, like, I think that making films is not simple.
Yeah.
But the most simple thing that you can do is just take a next step, right? Like when making a film, like, or making a movie, you know, it's like a super intimidating thing. You're like, okay, this is like, I have to take the first step of a million steps till
Yeah.
this movie is watchable.
Uh-huh.
But you know, it starts with a single step. And even if it's, you know, for me, like, yeah, like bills and financials, that's a bit of a, like, a drag for me sometimes. But the thing that just keeps me going is like, all right, well, step one is just opening up the bank or whatever, and then
Yeah.
so it's that's like this, that's a one way to simplify things.
Yeah.
And then another way to simplify my world is, I believe that physical space is mental space, and so I try to keep my workspace tidy, or my gear tidy, or everything organized. And it seems like you're very organized
Yeah.
with what's behind the camera there. At least I
Yeah.
haven't seen the
Yeah,
other
I
side.
tend to be. Like, I mean, here, like, you can see, like, look at the
Oh
tools
yeah,
over
there you go. Look at that.
there.
No, I gotta send you some stickers for your fridge.
Oh yeah, that
You got a
that
few
thing,
spaces
man.
there. I see
Huh?
that you got a few spaces. I got some sticker bombage too. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of sticker bombage. I feel like I'm gonna disconnect my whole.
Oh man, see, I moved the camera now; it's all screwed up. Oh,
There
there
you
you go,
go.
right on.
Yeah.
That fridge is actually quite a story. I got it from, let's just say, I got it from work, and at the time, it was
You
already
stole
like,
it from work. Okay.
it was already like 10 years old, right? And
Yeah.
I've had it for at least 5 or 6 years. It's probably been longer than that. Yeah, probably, let's just say I've had it for like 5 years. So this thing's like at least 15 years old. And I always wonder to myself, like, well, what happens one day when I come out here and this thing's like not working? I'm like, that's a work of art over there, all those stickers and all that
Yeah.
time I put into that thing.
Yeah. That's a Patreon prize.
Right.
Yeah. You get the fridge, but you have to pay for shipping.
Yeah, right. Local pickup only.
Yeah. What's in it?
Right now, more Gatorade than beer. It's usually just beer in there, but I haven't been drinking as much lately. I'm trying to lose weight. That's been this thing I've been doing on the channel, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, beer definitely doesn't help me lose weight at all.
No, it doesn't.
In between the extra calories and the lack of motivation whenever you're like the day after, you know.
You don't have the sugar-free Gatorade in there, do you? Can't stand that.
I use the zero one. I do actually do that zero. You don't like it?
I can't do the aftertaste.
Really?
No, I can't do
That's
it.
the one thing. Like, that's one of the few like sugar-free drinks that I actually will drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't
can't
know,
stand like diet sodas or like sugar-free soda. Like, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna go for the gold. But with that, I'm like, at least I feel like I can drink it when I'm riding, and it doesn't bother me.
If it's cold, but I
Yeah.
think that for me the taste just lingers. I can't even have like a piece of juicy fruit without the taste of the fake sugar. I need the real deal right to my brain.
There you go. Just
Yeah.
straight in. So, I think you had some news on your channel just not too long ago about you guys like bringing someone back.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah. As I told you, Jason. You know, he's kind of he was at the start, part of the start of our channels, but then took a sweet opportunity with Pink Bike.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you know Pink Bike.
Yeah, definitely.
To like run their channels, and man, yeah, he did a lot of cool stuff with Pink Bike. He traveled a lot. I think they post a video every single day. At least that's what he told me. And he was the person who was literally uploading a video every day. He got to host the Pink Bike Academy. So he was the host. He did a great job at that.
I heard about that show. I never watched it though.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
I need to check it out. Everything I heard, it sounded fun. So
yeah, it's good. It's cool. It's cool to see something new that no one's done before, you know.
Right.
Good opportunities for riders. Change some lives.
Yeah.
But
Does
yeah,
he still work with them, or is he just
I don't know if he's working. I think maybe he told me he was doing some consulting or something on some maybe it was on Pink Bike Academy or something. I don't really know, but he's working full time with us. So if he is, I don't know how he manages the time because he works a lot with us right now. We're working real hard on a lot of stuff. But yeah, no, he there was an opportunity to come back and work with us, and it's been awesome. It's like, you know, people have been saying the band's back together. Backstreet back. And yeah, we're just trying to go back to our roots a little bit. And we're trying to make some of the content that people first fell in love watching on our channels. Still trying to do commercials, which helps pay the bills and helps, you know, scratch our filmmaking itch as well. But yeah.
So how many people is like, this is your full-time gig, right? You know?
Yeah, this is my full-time gig. IFHT Films is our production company. Mahalo My Dude is like, you know, just one of the things that we do. And we're a team of 5 full-time now. So it's me. We got Jason. When we kind of, I don't know, it's hard to describe our roles because we really just do a lot of everything. You know, then we have David Wiggins. He's an old friend of ours. He used to have a YouTube channel as well. And he's really funny, really talented. He's great at writing. He's great at filmmaking. He's also a great graphic designer. He calls himself the layman of the group because he's not a mountain biker. But when we're making mountain bike content that we're trying to reach to a broad audience, he's the one that helps us, you know, make sure we're not too inside with mountain biking. Like, is this still a funny or enjoyable or entertaining for a non-mountain biker? Would my mom enjoy watching this?
Yeah. That's good to have some perspective like that, you know?
Yeah. And then Brooke is she's the creative guru, graphic designer. She designs a lot of our merch. She has definitely helped bring a lot of structure to the company, and it was definitely a lot looser before she became a part of the picture. I live with Brooke. Brooke and I have been living together for 3 years here. So we work all the time basically.
Yeah.
And then there's Kaz, and he's again, he does a lot filming. He's great at filming, great at editing. He edits a lot of the Mahalo content right now. But he's a jack of all trades too. He's got a mechanical engineering background, so he's crafty. He can get his hands dirty with all sorts of random projects. And yeah, we all just step up to the plate and do whatever needs to happen on the day.
So where's the money come from? I mean, if it's like, is it like all just ad revenue, or it's like you're doing commercials that have nothing to do with your channel for companies, or?
Well, we get budgets to make these commercials, so we put a lot of money into the commercials themselves, but we try to have a margin there to pay ourselves. And we're trying to get better at that too, because I feel like for years we've just been really paying our dues, especially in the mountain bike world. It's hard to kind of get the commercial budgets that, you know, like we're making some pretty high end stuff, and
for sure,
been hard to kind of value ourselves correctly.
No, I can understand where you're coming from.
And so we've been kind of paying our dues, but that's a big portion of our financial support. And then we have our YouTube ads, which I don't know, I feel like is
super unpredictable.
It's only like decreased over the years too. And there's like good periods with ads, you know, in the holidays, the ads are worth more. Like, you know, it's just like people are buying more stuff, so companies are like, well, pump the ads, let's go. And then we have our merch store. Our merch store is really big for us. Our fans love our merch. It does really well for us.
Stuff over there.
And that all just started from stickers. And that's worldwide too. People are buying our merch all over. And
it's kind of crazy when you see that stuff shipping all over the place, right?
Totally. It's also kind of frustrating sometimes because, we had to take like India off of our of our countries that we would ship to because every package would get lost. It's like,
no.
without a doubt, every package is lost. And sometimes the address is like, I'm not even kidding. It's literally like 81, Maple Road. I don't think there's a Maple Road in India, but it'll say like by the red building, like behind the yellow Jeep, and that's like on the package. So yeah, it's cool to see stuff going around the world, except when I'm gonna have to pay for this when it gets lost.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's some places too, like with my merch originally, I don't think I have it open internationally right now, just because in some cases, like it's just so expensive to ship there. It just doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, if people are paying for their own shipping, but I mean, a huge market for us is Germany. Shout out to our German fans. They love to buy huge packs of merch, and then it's like, without fail, every time, we can't control this, they get charged duty.
Oh yeah.
And then it seems like a lot of packages just get lost there. And like shipping out of Canada is not like shipping out of the US. It's way more, if you think it's expensive in the US, it's way more expensive out of Canada. Like to ship a hoodie to Germany, it'll be like $60.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's untracked. So you're putting $60 on the line to gamble, basically.
Right.
So
anyway. Australia is super expensive too to get stuff over there. It's kind of crazy. I wouldn't have expected that before I got into this mess,
For sure. I mean, when we first started just shipping stickers out, I didn't even know how to write a letter. I didn't even know how to write a letter and put a stamp on it. And now, like, I'm not even kidding. I had to Google how to format a letter. It wasn't something I had done.
Yeah.
But now, like, I feel like I'm somewhat of a whiz when it comes to shipping stuff worldwide.
Yeah. The big change for me was actually getting like a scale and a little thermal printer where I could just print my own labels instead of having to like go to the post office and like stand in line and have somebody pay for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I felt like I was like, man, I've freaking arrived now. I have a Dymo printer.
You spent the $400 for the Dymo.
So I went all in. Yeah, right. Do you guys order all your merch like in big quantities, and then, or do you
pretty much. So my mother's a big part of the team as well, and she holds down our warehouse basically. And she ships stuff out daily for us. But yeah, we don't do like the print to order. We like to have it on hand, and I like to physically be able to give it to people. And I don't know, we've done the print to order thing, and it just feels like the quality isn't that good. So we get really involved, man. It's a huge time consuming thing. Like we're really we try to make the best. It's been a long road of trying to make the best clothing possible, like best like shirts, the best material, and then add our own tags and all this. We're definitely, nowadays we don't go at it the cheap way.
It's
a big problem.
It's definitely, those are those things with having a channel or a business in this kind of space that you spend so much time on, and people those are the things that people don't realize how much time it takes. Like just to come up with a shirt design, like let's just say, like I made this shirt recently for some friends. We were joking around on a ride about having shirts that said like, don't follow my line, because it's like, because one buddy's like, just take horrible lines, right? And it's like when you're behind them, you're like, oh fuck, we took another one of those, So I made this shirt that was like, it says like DNF on the back. It's kind of like a joke on the like DNF of a race, right? Follow. But yeah, instead it's do not follow, and then it's like, it says slow house instead of fast house on it. But honestly, like going through the process of like where that shirt ended up, like in the actual design. Yeah. I easily just screwing around in Illustrator for a day or two. You know what I mean? Like of time of like, no, I don't like that. No, I don't like that. No, that font's no good. Change it to this size. You know what I mean? And it's like, people just see a shirt, they're like, oh yeah, I just came with that idea, and poof, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? And
they don't see the process.
yeah, and then it's
Yeah.
like what you were talking about, like with the shirt itself. You know, when I use a print to whatever we called it a second ago, you know,
Yeah.
direct to garment kind of thing, and it you have to like go through their website, build it, order it, then see what it looks like whenever you get it, because then you're like, oh no, I don't like where that logo is. You
Right.
know, like
Yeah,
you put it on, you're like, no, it needs to be over. Like, can they not make a better website to fucking actually show you where the stuff is going to be on the shirt?
Yeah, it's super frustrating. That part of the process is like, is that you're always like nervous to make decisions. You're like, yeah, I want it that size, and then you get 500 made or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah,
it was off, and then you just have to deal with it. It
yeah,
sucks.
yeah. So
Sucks.
I've been considering going down the route of like what you were just saying, of like
Yeah.
actually just printing my own stuff. I don't like, originally I was like, had these ideas that selling merch would take up so much of my time, but it's not like I sell a ton. And I think if I had more quality control in my own hands, then I would be happier about what I was selling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, something you can try. On the plus side, you get to support a local business, someone who prints it, not like a huge company that just prints for, countless YouTubers. You support a smaller shop, which is cool. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the best price, but hey, if you're whatever you're selling is of high quality, you can put whatever price you want on it. If people want to buy it, they'll buy it. But yeah, I mean, getting the stuff for real comes with its own problems, and then you're literally taking up space in your house, right? So you got to consider that. So we have like 2 full bedrooms full of stuff, and very, very well organized. It's a lot of stuff though, but it's cool just to have it too, because then you can give stuff away out of the back of your truck, or give gifts at your own whim. And I give tons of stuff away. I love to give stuff away and make impact on people, and you can't do that with the print to order.
No, you can't. Definitely not. And like, I feel like, I don't know, when you give somebody something like that, maybe some people don't really care, but I feel like a lot of people, like, it actually means something to them. You know what I mean? Like, it really, like, at least for me, like if I met somebody and they like, hey man, here's this bottle opener. It's like, oh, that's rad. Like you actually, like, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It shows some quality to the people, and I think it makes a connection,
It's super cool when you see your stuff out in the wild, like, let alone your buddy who's actually wearing something. You're like, oh wow, it's cool. I didn't think you'd actually wear it. Let alone a stranger wearing your stuff. It's cool. It's cool to see.
I've sent so many like like my Patreon group, the $5 tier, they get a sticker pack, right?
Yeah,
I've sent so many of them out, and a lot of my subscribers are in Northern California, and I have yet to see a biker sticker on a car that wasn't one of my friends. And like, just not too long ago, I was driving down the freeway and I saw this biker sticker on this car, and I was like, holy shit, I finally saw one. And I was all stoked because I was like, this is rad. And then I realized it was the girl that cuts my hair.
Hey, well, that's something.
It wasn't a mountain biker though, so
that's free advertising. Hey, that's what it starts from, your friends just shouting you out. Well, we would print these stickers, like it was our bear logo, this one, and we had these stickers that were the biggest that we could print on our craft cutter, 12 inches, massive. It would take up the whole window on a small car. And like, there's someone in Whistler with one of those, someone in Australia with one of those, like huge Island Ride Park stickers, like massive stickers. And I'm like, I would never do that. Shout out to you guys. Like, you guys are really repping hard. But I would never, I don't know. I'm not a sticker on the car guy. I obviously love stickers. I put stickers everywhere, not in the car.
I'm very picky about the ones that are on the car. I have like I have 3 on my truck right now.
Okay.
Yeah. One of them's biker.
All of your own. All of your own.
2 of them I made
biker bar stickers in a row.
Yeah. One just says biker, and then I have one that says infantry on it, because I was in the infantry whenever I was in the military.
Okay.
And then I also have, it's an F-150, and I have a sticker that I made. I thought was pretty funny. It says identifies as a Prius. And I thought I was like super original coming up with that. And then a couple weeks ago, I saw somebody else on the freeway with one. I was like, what the hell? But then I was like, wait a minute, I could be selling these because somebody actually bought that. I made mine.
Yeah, there you go. A little side sticker business. Are you making your own stickers, or you?
Yeah, those I am. I went down the route of buying a Cricut over Christmas.
Yeah.
And I have a buddy that runs a sticker business, Stickered, and he does all like decals, custom decals for bikes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes whenever I would design things like what we were just talking about with the shirts, and I'd get it back, I'd be like, oh, this is not really, it didn't look the way that I wanted, the size or something like that. And so I got the Cricut in the thought of like, I can prototype, and then once I know like, hey, I can hold, like for me, like holding in my hand, it makes a difference. Like, you know, so like I can hold it in my hand and be like, yeah, that's the size. That's the, how much, you know, bleed border I want around it or whatever, you know, and then I can send it to him and be like, all right, make 1,000
then
or
you send
whatever,
it.
you know?
Yeah. Isn't that great when you can like put it up on your bike and tweak it real time and tear it apart, whatever. And you can take your own photos too, like quicker. It's
But it was like another rabbit hole, man. It's like one of those things where it's like, there went like 2 weeks of my life watching like these 40-year-old house moms YouTube channels on how to use a Cricut and their design space, and like being super irritated because it's like, here's this thing for making stickers that doesn't import files straight from Illustrator. Like, what the hell is going on with the world here?
Yeah, a lot of headaches along the way.
Yeah, it's just like little stuff that you're like, I don't understand why. Like, I can design in Illustrator to like inches or millimeters, you know, and then you drop that file into the Cricut program, and it's like, I don't care. I'll be whatever size I want. You know, it's like,
yeah. I mean, I definitely experienced the same thing, like taking so much time making stickers, and it's been a part of my journey to delegate and like outsource like stuff. And the stickers is something that I don't have my hands on anymore, and I kind of miss it because I really loved having it here, and just sticker bombing, whatever, and taking photos. I think it was, people like to watch me make them too, so I feel like I
did a video on how to make stickers, didn't you?
Yeah, my pal Santos made it, and that actually blew up. It has like 3 million views because it has a super broad audience. People are just like Googling or YouTube searching how to make stickers, and then we pop up, and then they're like, this is the best sticker and craft channel ever. I'm gonna subscribe. And then they're like, what's, you know, a month later, they're like, why I don't remember subscribing to a mountain bike channel. And then I like refresh our channel and we lose like 10 subscribers, and I'm like, those are probably the sticker people.
Yeah, those are definitely the sticker people and the volleyball people. Yeah, so I've been using that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know, to circle back on like the money stuff, there's the merch store, and then we have our sponsors too, which has been like a newer thing that we've been going hard at this year, and Jason's been a integral part of that. So we have a lineup of sponsors that we're really stoked on, really pumped to just have their support. And then beyond that, we have our, we make a lot of music, so we have some revenue coming in from our music streams. We get like millions of plays on our songs. I'm telling you, man, make your Dead or Alive parody.
There we go. Huh? Yeah. So you have like a SoundCloud or something like that, and that's like generating revenue, or how's that work?
No, we have like you basically you get like a distributor. Like it could be like a website like TuneCore or
Epidemic or something like that.
Yeah. There's another one. Lost it. But yeah, from there you just distribute to like Spotify, iTunes, wherever you want your music. You're basically just checking boxes, like where do I want it, and then it's, people don't really buy music anymore, but they stream it, so you get your ad revenue on that could be more than YouTube. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like regular music, like somebody would want to listen to while they're doing something, or it's like music that you would use to like put to an edit, or?
Oh, well, it's like we have a few songs that have been streamed a lot. Like one's called Wismiss, one is Fur to Girls, one's Island Ride Park, I'm
Oh,
Faster
okay,
Than
yeah, I know which
You.
ones we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're kind of like funny songs, like
Yeah.
some sort of concept to it. And apparently people listen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So,
I mean, especially with like this new song we've made, our goal is to try and make a song that's like about one thing conceptually, but is in general a song that you just want to listen to. Like,
yeah.
so, yeah.
That's super interesting. Yeah, I would have never thought about that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I was heavily inspired by my friends who are musicians. So just being the fly on the wall is like, oh, this is really cool. And then to get their help over the years has made it very tangible for me.
I really miss the music portion of my life. You know, when I was younger, like I was saying, you know, I was really into that, and all of my friends were musicians. You know, that was kind of like what we did. You know, we were always like playing guitar together or making some kind of music. You know what I mean? It would be like,
yeah,
hey, let's go on this hike, and then we're gonna have our guitars, and we're gonna like go play guitar after, or you know, we're gonna go to the beach, or we're gonna get drunk tonight, and everybody's gonna jam, you know, or whatever it was, you know, and whatever over time, you know, we kind of like spread out, and I didn't have that friend group. And I think for me, the music was just as like, I think it was about the friend group, you know what I mean? As much as it was about the music. And I don't really have that, you know, anymore. And I miss that, you know. It's interesting to think about, you know, when you were just saying your friends that are musicians.
Yeah, you never know when something's going to come back into your life, you know, like in whether it's just like a hobby or suddenly it becomes like a professional thing. And I mean, the guitar, it's right there.
Yeah.
Kind of hidden my Strat right there. I hadn't played it for like 10 years and it kind of bummed me out, but then and it's like now I'm playing it.
Yeah, it sounds like the same kind of thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like I missed it too, and bring it back, Robert. Right? Do you have a good voice, Robert?
Yeah, I got a decent singing voice, man. I can get away with some things. I'm definitely, you know, not some amazing American Idol singer or something like that. But
well, I mean,
rock and roll,
a little bit of autotune can go a long way.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, if Kurt Cobain can blow up the way he did, apparently
you
don't need autotune, right?
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
It's like,
well, yeah. I mean, it's hard to make like an original song, but a parody is a good way to start.
Yeah. I have a bunch of stuff that I made over the years that, you know, those are the ones that where it's like, it's so few and far between. Whenever I play, it'll be like I'll pick up the guitar for whatever reason, you know, and it'll be like I'll have to actually remember how to play. Like, how was that song that I wrote? You know what I mean? It'll be like take a little bit, and then it comes back, and then it's like,
isn't that funny? Like the muscle memory that you haven't played a song in 10 years, and all of a sudden it's just like, you know, you struggle once or twice, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, here it is. Like I never forgot. And your hands are just doing this thing, and you're like, how?
Yeah.
Really
There's
cool.
like certain ones, you know, you like to play. You're just like, man, this one's just fun to sing. This one's fun to play. You know, like I always like playing like "Where Did You Sleep Last Night?" That's a Nirvana song or cover. That one's really fun to play, and it's like it's simple, and it's just like I like songs that have a lot of like you can feel the emotion in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that one I just like, I don't know, speaks to me.
Man, you got the audio engineering background, you got the gear, you got the guitar, the voice.
Yeah, that's
people
it.
want the music.
It's time to go just go all in, right?
We want the Smells Like Teen Spirit remix.
There you go. Yeah, dude, there's some good like covers that like you'll hear of some people redoing older songs like that, and you're like just blown away by their different take on the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I want to say it was like somebody like Tori Amos, I think, did Smells Like Teen Spirit, and it was surprisingly really good.
You know who I really enjoyed covering Nirvana? Post Malone did like a 2-hour set from his house during like the middle of COVID. He was raising money for the Who or something like that. Anyways, they were in his house. It was him. Was it Travis Barker? Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, it was like pretty all-star crew there, and they were all wearing women's dresses, and they were shredding and Post Malone sounded so good singing Nirvana, and like didn't mess up. He was smoking cigarettes, like putting cigarettes in his little in the frets there, and like yeah, it was so good. I've listened to that whole thing a few times now. It's so
Right
good.
on.
Yeah, I recommend that.
I'll have to look it up for sure. Definitely a big Nirvana fan. That was like a period of my life. I lived in Germany for a while, and I used to like go on the search for bootleg recordings to find, you know, those songs that weren't on CDs. And I probably have between like 30 and maybe 30 and 50 Nirvana CDs that are all like just different bootlegs, you know? Because I was always like, oh, there's this one song on there. And sometimes you know, you couldn't listen to them, you know, you'd have to buy it, and then you'd go home and you listen and be like, oh, it was like labeled wrong. And like, oh, I know this song. And so you just buy all these things. And like over all that time, like I like had all these songs that were like very, very rare by them. And then, you know, like 15 years later, they made an album or a CD with like all of them on it. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
They like deluxe and all that hard work.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a product of Kazaa and LimeWire, and you know, so I can't relate at all to hunting for albums in the same way. So how would you know? Like, where would you look? Just like obscure little record stores trying to
basically find... like, because like we would always be like traveling all over the place just to see stuff, you know, and so it'd be like some music store, you know, you just walk into some music store that's like they would be, you know, like the mom and pop kind of music store, right? And they'd have, you know, you just go to the Nirvana to look for Nirvana CDs, right? And it'd be some freaking, you know, bootleg disc in there that looks like it's legit, but it's not, you know. And you just look at the names of the songs that were on there and then be like, oh, okay, well, I don't recognize this one, you know. What's...
Oh, that's cool.
You know, and so you take it, you know, buy it or whatever, and then just go and see what you ended up with. It's funny though, because it's like, I mean, most of the recordings they weren't good, or they would be like live recordings that were, you know, or something like that. And but you know, you'd find some gems sometimes, you know. It'd be like, and yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting when that actual CD came out later, where it was like, man, I had almost all of that music, you know, and for people that were huge fans, you know, at that point.
Hey, do you know who Nardwuar is?
No, not off the top of my head.
Nardwuar, Nardwuar. Nardwuar, the human serviette, which means the human napkin. He's just like, he's a guy. He's a journalist. He's a very well-known Canadian interviewer who's he's a super obscure dude. Simply put, he has this very recognizable format to his interviews. He always gifts the artist he's interviewing many times over throughout an interview, and he's known for doing insane research. Like, he always makes the artist freak out.
Yeah,
you can find compilations of freak out videos from artists going, how do you know this? Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
And one of the he normally he's known for interviewing rappers, like so I don't know if you can, you gotta look this guy up. He's not who you'd think he's not how you would imagine him to look like.
Yeah,
he's got like all plaid. He wears like a beret, kind of Scottish beret. Maybe he'd wear like flannel pants and stuff. He's got a really squeaky voice, and anyways, he's a really obscure dude. He used to have a radio show, and one of his early famous interviews is with Kurt Cobain backstage, and I think like Courtney Love's in the back as well. And it's just like it's just like this super iconic interview. And since then, he's interviewed like every like A-list rapper and almost every Canadian prime minister, and he's a Canadian icon for sure. If you're into music and you like interviews, definitely check out Nardwuar.
I'll definitely
love for Nardwuar.
Definitely have to check it out. That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. It's that was the fun stuff of like, I think, you know, looking for those CDs is kind of like you get a little bit of a insight maybe, or some like interviews, obscure interviews or something, insight into who those people are. Like with the way that social media is today, like it's pretty easy to like access information about who you're into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like back then it was like, unless they were on like an MTV show or some magazine article that you could read, you know, there wasn't really like Instagram or their Facebook page to go, their Twitter to go see what they're like. Hey, look, they had coffee this morning. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We almost know too much now.
Yeah. It's weird, you
It's
know.
much easier to be like a stalker in this day and
Yeah.
age if you're obsessed with a certain artist.
Yeah. It's one of those things too. It's like, you know, kind of bring back to our own, you know, social media presence. I always have to remember that like when people are meeting me, like they really know me,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't know them at all, you know, and it's really, it's interesting, you know, it's an interesting way to meet somebody that like knows a lot about you, you know, like they've listened to all these podcasts or they've watched all these, you know, videos over years, and it's like they at least like from the type of content that I'm making, they really know my personality and like what things that are I'm into or whatever. And it's weird meeting somebody that knows you that well when you don't know them at all, you know.
Yeah, and everybody handles it differently too. Some
Yeah.
people are can just handle it better than others.
Yeah.
But you got your first stalker, Robert. Do
Yeah.
you have a stalker yet?
I almost had one. I like dipped and got like lucky out of that one. That's a good story, but
Okay.
probably not for on broadcast. Just in case
So
they want to
YouTube rite of passage. You got to get the sticker on the car. You get the stalker. You got to
Yeah,
get the
you got a
9 cents
stalker?
on ad revenue.
Did you get the stalker? You got the stalker?
I remember someone following me around a mall when I was younger, and it was like very obvious. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny, you know, like being on YouTube now for like 12 years. We've grown up with our audience, so we have seen audiences come and go. Like there's been, you know, there's probably names that are familiar to you. You know, you see them in the comments. You're like, oh, it's that guy. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, there's going to be a day where you just don't see that person anymore because they fell off, they don't care anymore, they grew up, or whatever the reason is.
Yeah.
And I've just seen that so many times over, right? Because people just grow up. But it's also cool to see the people who it's like, wow, that guy still commenting. He commented like he used to support us back in like 2010, like the first videos ever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting too. Like I think that you can tell when somebody recognizes you from like across the room, like the look that they give you, and they're like, oh, you know, like they'll have this. You just know instantly. You're like, yeah, that person. And then, you know, maybe like 15 minutes later, they'll finally come up and say something, you know, like I was at Sedona recently and had an instance like that. And it was like, I thought like the way that they looked at me whenever I was walking by, I was like, I thought they recognized me. And then it's like, oh, what do you know?
You know, you can usually tell. I think a lot of the time now, it depends what mood I'm in, but like, if I see someone knows, I just try to break the ice for them because I know it's hard sometimes, especially for younger kids. I just go like, "What's up, dude?" and just give them the thumbs up, or whatever, just like break it for them because I know as a young kid, if you see someone that like you look up to, you're like, you just like kind of freeze up.
Yeah, they totally do. I've had definitely a lot of parents come to me and be like, "Oh, this is my son. He likes watching your stuff," and it's like. The first thing comes to my mind is because like my stuff originally was like definitely really well. I'm still like pretty loose with the cuss words and let's just say more adult content. So I'm always like, what are they watching me for? But
we were just talking about most famous people that we've met. And like this was just the other day. We're talking about being in like the fan's position and being nervous to ask for a photo. Steve-O was one that I was pretty stoked to get a photo with, but it wasn't like I saw him in the wild and I asked him for a photo. It was like I was at his show and he said like everybody gets a photo, every single person gets a photo. So I was like, all right, let's do it. And then but then the one time that I was the most starstruck to the point where like I was like, that must be an impersonator. That's not actually him. There's no way that could actually be him. I was in Las Vegas at Interbike, and Bam Margera was there watching the movie premiere, and I was like so convinced it wasn't him, and I saw him and I was thinking like, oh man, should I ask him for a photo? And then I went back into the theater and I was like, no, I gotta go back out. I asked him and like nobody was in the lobby anymore. Everybody had funneled into the theater to watch the movie, but he was still out there. And I asked him for a photo and like, I was such a fanboy. I was just like, I say 2 words. I'm like, thank you, bye.
Yeah.
But I got my photo.
That's so funny.
What about you?
The most famous person that I've met, I didn't actually meet him, but you know who Pauly Shore is?
Yeah.
He was like, let's just say late 90s, like super popular for those of you that don't know, on MTV and comedy, and he had some movies and stuff like that. I also was in Vegas.
Oh no.
And my friend and I were heavily drinking, and actually
that part for my story.
yeah actually Pauly Shore came up to right next to me in the bathroom and took a leak next to me.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, here's Pauly Shore and he's peeing next to me. Can't really make conversation right now.
That's awesome.
So that was my closest interaction with somebody extremely famous.
Was he right next to you?
He was right next to me, like, no divider wall, taking a leak.
Oh, like one of those troughs?
Not something? A trough, but like, where you're like, man, just keep your eyes straight in front of you.
Don't look at his dick. Don't look at his dick. Don't look at his dick. But how'd you know it was him? Were you
already, like he walked in, it's like somebody walks in, you like turn your head and you're like, oh shit, that's fucking Pauly Shore. And then I like walked out, and then like we were my friend and I don't know how it happened. You know how Vegas is, but we were like getting extremely drunk, and it was right by like where the restrooms were, and we were like I don't remember if we actually had cards or we were just assigning numbers to the girls as they were walking out of the restroom back to wherever they were going. And we were being rather vocal about it. And we had quite a group of people that were very entertained by what we were doing. So like there was like this bar sitting there just watching us like heckle all these women coming out of the bathroom, which probably wasn't the greatest thing to do, but when you're like 22 and hammered, you come up with some dumb ideas. So I went back to my spot after I got out of the bathroom and definitely saw Pauly Shore walk out. At that point I was like, I can't be like, it's just awkward, like you can't.
Where were you at?
We were what place were I'm thinking it might have been like the MGM or something like that, I think is where we were. Yeah, so yeah, it was it was pretty funny.
It's a good place to see famous people.
Yeah, apparently Vegas is the place to go. Other than that, I'm trying to think of other famous people that I've seen. I saw Willie Nelson in Palm Springs, and then
like at the Price or the Rite Aid or what?
Yeah, no, he was like leaving the hotel. We were at this like hotel resort kind of thing, and he was just okay. I don't know if he was there visiting or something. Like it's like, holy shit, Willie Nelson. I don't even know why, but you can't miss that guy, right?
Yeah. Just a cloud. We just followed him.
Hey, yeah. Right. I'm not like super like I don't know who I would be super starstruck to meet in person. I'm trying to even think. Like I'm probably forgetting some instances where I've had other situations. The only other thing I can remember of, there was this show back when I was a kid called American Gladiator.
Oh yeah.
And I met one of the American Gladiator girls at the airport once when I was like 11, and I was just like, I remember like trying to play it super cool, like I didn't know the show. She was like talking to me, before she was getting on the plane, and I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of that show. She like gave me one of her like
you had like your gladiator shirt on, you like covered it up. Was she traveling with her giant Q-tip?
Right, exactly. Yeah, she like gave me one, like her headshot photos, and signed it, and I
oh wow,
yeah.
What? That's a That's a baller move to be just carrying headshots around because you know you're so famous. That's what she was
Right?
doing.
Yeah, well,
She had
apparently.
headshots and a Sharpie.
Maybe she was going to go try out for another show. She just had a bunch of them handy, but one way or another. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need a headshot. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Or handing out headshots.
Yeah.
Have you ever
I'm gonna start printing out headshots, putting them in my pocket.
Right. Have you
That's not gonna go to my head at all.
Have you ever had somebody ask you for a autograph?
Oh yeah, I've signed some autographs in my day. Signed some phones, signed some bodies,
Yeah.
signed some stuff that I didn't want to sign for sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's always cool. It's always cool to make someone's day like that.
Yeah. I had a kid ask me to sign his helmet. I was just thinking, like, I don't want to screw this up.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I never really thought about what my biker signature is. You know what I mean? Like I have my personal one that I like sign checks with and shit. You know, like, is that the signature you use when you're signing somebody's like helmet? I don't know. You know?
Yeah, actually at an early age, I wanted to make sure that my autograph was sick. And yeah, I practiced a lot. I tried different variations and I got to something I liked. And now signing random stuff. And people have commented like on my autograph thing, like someone said to me, a buddy of mine said, like, that's what he said? That's an autograph of someone who thinks he's gonna make it. little fancy one. It's got a heart in it, little smiley face.
Oh man, you went all in. Now I gotta see it. I definitely put some time into my regular signature, but there's like two parts of it. It's like one part make it cool, one part I have a last name. My last name is super long, Schumacher. It's like you don't want to spell that. You know, at least me, I'm lazy as hell. So I'm like, how can I make this happen as quick as possible, but still look cool?
It's just a little scribble.
Yeah. Oh, it just is like a straight line. It's
I remember early, but I was super young. My mother was trying to explain to me the concept of a autograph, and I was like, so you can literally make it whatever you want. So then I was like trying to like with like a gotcha moment. I'm like, so I can literally just make it a spiral and that could be my autograph. She's like, no, you can't make it a spiral. You can't, it's still gonna be your name. But I'm like, yeah, but it could be whatever I want. It doesn't matter. I mean, look at like Donald Trump's. It's like literally like,
yeah,
it's like insane. Like my autograph though is dialed. Yeah.
That's awesome. If you were doing something else other than what you're doing for a profession right now, what do you think it would be?
Miniature campfires on my YouTube channel. This would be another iteration of a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Can't get away from the video stuff, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've kind of decided that, like, you know, even if I decide that or whatever, somehow I'm put in a position where I can't do exactly what I'm doing now, mountain biking, whatever, this comedy thing. I'll always have my film skills and storytelling skills, so I can always apply that somehow. But if I was not doing film at all, I really enjoy, if Jason's watching this, he's gonna make fun of me because I said this before and he's laughed at me, but I really enjoy woodworking. It's not something that I do often at the moment, but in high school I was really into that. I really enjoyed carpentry and not so much like building houses and that kind of direction, but I like, you know, building like chairs and tables and little like containers and stuff like that. I would love to have a wood shop. I think that's a goal of mine when I'm old.
I built a desk recently.
Cool.
Because like it's basically like I'm not happy with whatever I can get and I want like things to be a certain or something like that, right?
Very
so
precise,
like yeah and in my mind I'm like I have this idea of what I want, and then I'm looking online for 5-6 hours, and finally I'm like, that's it, I'm just gonna build this thing myself,
right?
But it's like super like fulfilling, and it's
totally.
I can see what you're saying.
Just I explained I always like making stuff with my hands, so I definitely got into the it's like filmmaking too. It's like they don't just appear. You got to put a lot of effort. Nobody appreciates the effort that you're really putting in, all that sanding, all that buffing, all that planing, whatever it is. Like there's a lot of work, but then when you finally have it, you're like, I made that. It used to just be a tree or a block of wood, and now it's that. It's like same thing with a film. It's like that used to just be an idea, and now it's a thing.
Yeah,
So
now it's a thing.
I think I enjoy just, you know, putting the blood, sweat, and tears and
creating,
having patience and creating something out of nothing.
I think that's what I think that's what it is for me, you know, like why I'm a YouTuber, you know, it's a creative thing, you know, whether it was drawing pictures or creating like things, wooden airplanes, or, you know, like making music or making videos. Like it's definitely a creative outlet, you know, and I think that's what it really, like for me, it would always be some kind of other creative thing, you know, and
yeah, for sure.
I think it would be fun to be like one of those travel vloggers. I think that would be pretty neat.
I mean, aren't you already kind of that? I mean, you went to Sedona. I'm sure you shot some content there. I mean,
yeah, I guess so. I am. Oh my God.
I mean, what's the difference? You
son of a gun.
I mean, you just got to book a ticket that's a little farther away, and then you're a travel vlogger.
Do you ever watch that, like Anthony Bourdain? Do you ever watch him?
Oh yeah, big fan for sure. I watched him just the other day.
Yeah, that to me would be like I think he had it like dialed, you know.
For sure, yeah.
Go here, like try this food, like meet these people, drink these drinks.
We've been throwing his name a lot around because we're doing a project. This is an exclusive. We're doing the Island Ride Park tour in the summer, and we're gonna tour. We're starting to BC. We're gonna tour 6 bike parks around BC, and that's been kind of our angle. Is like more like an Anthony Bourdain thing. Is it's not just about the food, really. It's about the people and some stories. And so we're trying to. Yeah, I remember listening to a podcast though where I think it was Joe Rogan. He was saying that you don't be one of those guys who says, so I have this idea. It's basically like this meets Anthony Bourdain, because nobody's Anthony Bourdain. You'll never be Anthony Bourdain. And then like a month later, I'm like, mountain biking plus Anthony Bourdain. I got you. Being that guy.
Yeah, no, he definitely. I mean, like when you see something that's successful though, like it's, you know, it makes sense to emulate it, you know,
for sure. Like, I mean, everything's so brilliant about the show too, you know, like even just his writing style and his voiceover and stuff are great, but the camera,
I think his writing style is like really, you know, that's the hook, you know, and I don't think that's the part where like that it's hard to replicate, you know. He definitely had a way, like he was a wordsmith.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Definitely like, an intelligent guy.
I really respect people that can articulate that well.
Yes.
I've always wanted to write a book.
Okay.
I thought it would be fun to do. And it's like, but when you like, you watch somebody or you listen to somebody like that, it makes you feel like I shouldn't write a book, you know?
Nah. I mean, you can do whatever you put your mind to, really. But I definitely hear what you're saying. You're like, you know, it's like, I want to make a movie, but then I go and watch like Dune, and I'm like, how do they make this? This is crazy. Like, I'll never be able to make a movie. But it's like, whatever. I'll make it in my own way, you know?
Yeah. Like, what's the longest piece of content you guys have made?
The B1KER podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
No. That would probably be our Yule log that we made. It would be our like 4-hour and 20-minute Yule log called Steamy Logs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about something that has more more storyline? Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe, I don't know, probably like one of our How to Bees, which is like upwards of like 8 minutes. We haven't really made a short film that's longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah. Have you considered, you know, doing like something longer format, like just to push yourself to see if you
I mean, my big goal, I think the team's big goal, is to make a feature film. That's our big thing. We've been talking about it for years though, and it's really just trying. It's I always wanted to make it before I was 30, but now I'm 16 days until I turn 30. So
yeah, you better get to it.
You got any ideas, man? Because that's the big one for us. I think early 20s, I definitely doubted it. I was like, I'll never make one. And then suddenly I had a click moment where I'm like, okay, I could do this. You know, I met the right people along the way who encouraged me and enabled me to have the right mindset that I could do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have a ton of ideas. It's just it's required a lot of patience. It's, you know, like I said, like this whole song thing, it's like I wanted to make it 3 years ago, but
yeah,
I had to hold on to it. And the same thing with the movie. It's like, it's just a time or place, and I got to be patient. But
yeah,
it's the fear that it's going to get away from you, right? It's like that you're going to blow the chance, or
yeah,
it's going to, you know, something's going to prevent you, but you just got to have faith. So
yeah.
and
I
it's
think
just,
you mentioned Jordan Boostmaster earlier, and I'm pretty sure it was one of his videos when I was like thinking about starting a YouTube channel, and he had like said the number one thing to do is just to do it.
yeah,
You
pretty
know,
much.
and
I
that,
mean, you
you
can
know,
prepare all you want. You can think
yeah,
about it. You can plan. But then there's like at a certain point, analysis becomes paralysis,
yeah,
and you're just overthinking shit, and you're not actually doing it. And it's
yeah,
the same thing with this movie. It's like at a certain point, I'm gonna have to flip the switch because we just have too many
yeah,
things going on, too many opportunities that come our way, like commercials and these
yeah.
shorter pieces. But at a certain point, we're gonna have to be like, all right, we're doing it. This
Let's
is
do it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And does it matter to you like
Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
yeah, yeah, right. Does it matter to you what the content is, or it's just like the idea of doing a movie?
Well, I mean, I have like loose directions and content for sure. Something that our current fan base would eat up. Because we want to take advantage of our audience, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's not like
in a
you're like,
good way.
I want to do a crime thriller, you know, or like,
yeah,
like,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm being very open with
yeah,
exactly what the plot is, but
yeah,
in one
I
way
get
or
it.
another, it will involve bikes.
Yeah,
But kind of, I don't want to say too much at
yeah,
this
I got it.
stage.
I
But
totally get
this
it.
is the first time I've talked about it, other than
Yeah,
in private with friends. But yeah, it's, you know, just gotta have some faith. One of these
yeah.
days, it'll happen.
I think it'd be fun to do a documentary. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, what would you do your doc on?
I don't know if I would do it, but I've been trying to talk other people into doing it.
Okay.
There's a guy, he was actually been on the show before, Semi Sendy. He actually is a documentary film guy.
Okay.
And I was telling him that I think that it would be really interesting to do a documentary about YouTubers. Like about, you know, I watch a lot of documentaries, so kind of like you start to see the formats that really work and what they could do. You know, you could have like the big YouTuber, you could have the couple of guys in the middle YouTubers, and you could have the person that you follow that's just starting, and kind of like tell this story of how they come about, and like whether it's successful, or here's the one that quit because they burned out.
Right,
And
right.
I think there's a lot of story there, you know. And the thing that would be a plus side to that is if they're YouTubers, then they're already, you know that they're going to be at least decent on camera, at least the ones that you can choose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is you know, could be trying if you're trying to do something. But I don't know, I think it would be fun.
Yeah,
But
that'd be a good one.
yeah,
I'd watch it. All 14 parts on Netflix.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Don't know what it's about until part 4.
Right. Damn it. They sucked us in. Man, well,
okay, fine. I'll watch the next one.
right.
They only give you like 2-3 seconds before they just start auto playing the next one. Eh?
Oh yeah, they're on it. I wonder how much time went into like, how long should we make this, guys?
Yeah.
You know, there was at least an hour-long meeting of like, no, there was like the 5-second crew. There was like the 15-second crew. They were like, no.
Yeah, there was the guy with the conscience, the one guy with the conscience in the back who's like, I don't think it should autoplay at all. And then he got thrown out the window.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was like married to somebody, so they're like, we'll put it in the options. You can turn off autoplay if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff there, man. Dude, it's been like 2 hours, man. I really appreciate you sitting down and chatting with me.
Thanks for inviting me on. It's fun.
Yeah,
Good to meet you. So do you ever make your way up here to BC?
I would love to, man. That maybe if you need an extra in your movie, I come up there. I got like 16 days
for that. Just come for fun. Come ride the bike park. Come pursue your travel vlogging career.
There you go. Maybe that's what I should do.
Yeah,
I should just start my travel vlog channel right now.
Yeah, Wismas is in May. It's coming up.
Wismas. That's when they open up, huh?
Yeah, but honestly, I would if you did want to come, I would come in the middle of summer, because that's when all the trails are open. If you come on opening day, there's still clearing snow, and like more than half the bike park's closed. So, but yeah,
I've never ridden a bike park.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
we have one here that a lot of people go to, North Star, and I just haven't gone. And it's I know I'm going to enjoy it if and when I do it. It's just, to me, there's all these rides that I want to do, and every year the list of rides that I want to do gets longer, because then there was like that new one that I did last year that's now on the list, right?
Yeah.
And you have only so many weekends or so many times that you can get up to the mountains before it snows again. So it's like you get this exponential list of rides that you want to squeeze into that space. And taking one of those days out to go to a park instead of doing one of those rides out, like where like the struggle's real, that's like part of the mountain biking that I really enjoy. And it's hard for me to like be like, okay, I'm gonna go do that. But
well, what a story, man. You should come to Whistler. I've never ridden a bike park before, and the first one's Whistler.
That's it, man. And then I have to move and become a Canadian citizen.
Hey, that's not half bad. We got more bike parks that you
right. Yeah. So I always ask people before they leave, what YouTube channels do they like to watch? So if it's like basket weaving or like, Matt's car recovery or whatever it is.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily have to be mountain biking.
Yeah. I got a few that have been big inspirations over the years. Probably there's one channel that I've watched every video on. That's Good Neighbor. So those are now the dudes who, well, actually, it's been so long that they used to be on SNL, and now there's only one remaining. But one ended up writing for SNL, and then two ended up being on the main cast. But their channel, super funny stuff. Good Neighbor.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. And then let's see, Julian Smith. I think that's his name. Let me look that up. Julian Smith. I think Julian Smith TV. Yeah, YouTuber. Yeah, he made short films back in the day. I don't know if you ever heard of Mulk or Hot Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Those are awesome videos. Shit. I even like what's it called? Primitive Technology. You know this one?
No, what's that one?
Primitive Technology is like kind of similar to what you were saying earlier, where it's just like people in a forest like building something. You were saying like someone cooking food over a grill or something.
Yeah.
This guy's in the Australian outback, and he just builds like huts or like brick fire pits. Like,
yeah,
I
might have seen this guy. Yeah.
And it's super therapeutic. My grandmother, she's like over 90, and I would always try to entertain her throughout the day and put something on playlist for her. And that channel was the only one that I could really get her glued to the seat watching, because it's very simple. It's like, you're just watching someone with basically no dialogue, just building stuff in the forest.
Yeah. And somehow it's super interesting. I know exactly what you're saying now. Right on, man. Well, I totally appreciate you sitting down, chatting with me. That was super fun. I'm gonna have to make my way up there then, put it on my list of things to do during the summer.
Yeah. Make sure you watch Post Malone's Nirvana cover, and you gotta check Nardwuar.
Yeah.
Nardwuar. There's
when you were explaining him, that reminded me of the if you ever watch Hot Ones, have you ever watched that?
Yeah.
He does the same thing with, like, when he's interviewing people, they're always like, how did you know I dated that girl in high school?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Sean Evans probably took inspiration from Nardwuar. 100%.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Look him up, man, and find an interview that you'd be interested in. It's good stuff.
Sure.
And then the compilation of like Nardwuar blowing his mind's guest or his guest's mind.
Yeah, got it. Well, those of you guys that have made it this far, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't hit the subscribe button, do that. Maybe the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down button twice. That works as well.
We can't see it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you're listening to the podcast and you love this podcast, you could be the person this month that writes me a 5-star review. And I would be super stoked about that, because whenever I go over to the Apple Podcast and I see all the reviews written there, it really makes me feel good about myself. And If you want to be the guy that makes me feel good, or the gal that makes me feel good this year, that would be rad. I'd really appreciate that. Otherwise, you guys know there's one thing to remember. It only takes a bike to be a biker. So get out and be one.
Keep your wheels dirty.